Good evening and welcome to the Revere School Committee of the Whole meeting. It's November 21st, 2023. It is 5:02. Could we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Stacy Bronson, Rizzo.
Here.
Mr. Michael Ferranti.
Here.
Mr. John Kingston.
Here.
Mrs. Aisha Milbury Ellis.
Present.
Miss Jacqueline Monterosso.
Here.
Miss Carol Ty.
Here.
Acting Mayor Patrick Keefe. Or Mayor Patrick Keefe. Sorry about that.
Okay, let's start the agenda with the consent calendar. Anyone have any questions on the approval of minutes? Seeing none, we move on to the warrants. Any questions for Mr. Cruz on the warrants? Mr. Ferranti.
Thank you, Mrs. Rizzo. Matt, on page 3, number 74, Boston College Campus Consultant / Professional Learning. Just tell me what that is. Page 3. I'm sorry, page 2, I'm sorry. Page 2, I can't read. Number 74, Boston College Campus,
It's a
10,000.
high school-based.
It's one of our special needs schools that we send students to that's based on the campus of Boston College, the college.
On page 4, number 140, just where the network switches went, it's Retrofit Inc., 69,390 network switches. But that's for the whole city, whole school, all the schools?
Yes, that's a district-wide account. I'll have to pull 6883, and I'll send a copy of that so everyone can see exactly where they were placed.
On page 14, it's BCM Controls Corp. One was for $36,000 and the other was for $51,000. The first one's security improvements and the other security maintenance. I guess I'm just really concerned, was that the high school or is that all the schools?
So the first one is a PO from last year. There was a supply chain issue on getting the cameras. The second one is the annual fee that we pay for every camera in the district to be supervised, so we know what's happening with them.
Okay, and I just have one more. Page number 18. Number 610, Performance Plumbing, 66,000 contractor service HVA replacement. Do we replace equipment or do we fix something?
That was an ESSER-funded project to replace HVAC equipment. It's either the Garfield or the Beachmont.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. Monterosso.
Just two quick questions on page 12. I see on lines 439 and 440 that we paid for aerial lifts, and I just wanted to ask what that was.
So there's an open purchase order for a special lift that we don't own, that the tradesmen need if they're replacing lights that are up high in a
Oh, like
gymnasium or a
elevator,
theater.
like a, okay. I thought
So-
like aerial lift, like a plane. I was like, was someone evacuated? Okay. And the last one, 449, it says disposal of special products. What special products?
That would be anything that has chemicals involved with it, either
Thank you.
classroom or maintenance related.
Okay, thank you, that's all.
Wow, my voice.
Ms. Milbury Ellis.
Sure, just one quick question. Page 18, it's line item 619, Cambridge 7 Associates, a feasibility study. From McKinley School. Could you just give a little more context to that, please?
What's the number on that again?
It is number 619 on page 18.
All right, that's the feasibility study for what is possible with the renovation of the existing McKinley School building. So ESSER 3 is ready to fund some work there, but we're working with the city to determine what is actually possible to do.
Do we know if is that based on the prior plans with pre-K and the offices, or has that changed at all?
So it is still that. It's the feasibility study is to have the early childhood center that we
Right.
had been planning to have. And in addition, and paying for other portions of the renovation, would be the new 911 call center and a food hub, I believe is the third project
Yep.
planned to go in there. And we, as Matt mentioned, had some money set aside in ESSER 3 that the state has approved for that purpose. But the rest of the cost of that rehab would come from other state funding outside of school department that would pay for like the 911 call center. And there's also some state grants that I know the city has procured in order to pay for the food hub portion of the redevelopment.
Great, thank you so much.
Ms. Ty?
Page 12, please. It's Gibson's Roofing, number 418, 19, and 20.
That was a series of repairs done at the high school. So some,
All at the high school?
yep, some in the West Wing and some over the music classroom. It's not just repairs, but it's testing. So they'll flood with water to test where are we having issues and then do the repair.
One more, just observation. I'm so happy to see that we are paying for Charlie the comfort dog, because, boy, what an addition he is to the schools. We had just a little party in the park, we called it, down at Louis Pasteur Park, and a wonderful day, and the kids came, and then Charlie came, and then nobody paid any attention to the rest of us who had some kind of game or anything, which was wonderful. Even I jumped in and got my picture taken with Charlie. Everybody wanted to. That is, I'm so grateful to the police department and to the school department, to Officer Brennis. He is the perfect person to be in charge of that perfect dog, and we're just so lucky to have it. Just wanted to mention about how happy I am that we do. Thank you.
And he's expensive, as all dog owners know. Sorry about my voice. I didn't realize it was so shot until I got here.
I was going to say that, Matt. Look, everyone had questions for you tonight, and it's a night you didn't have a voice, so thank you for dealing with us. Anyone else have any last questions? And seeing no financial reports for this month, go home, take care of yourself, and we'll see you soon.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, great.
Thank you, man.
Thanks. Moving on, we have food service, no financials. Communications, we have none, no financials. Enrollment update, we all received a copy of that. Was there any questions to be had, Mr. Kingston?
I was just wondering if you could add one line. I'd like to see how many children are at each school. I know we have it broken out by grade, but I'd like to know, like, is the Garfield Elementary larger than the Whalen at this moment, or in time, or that type of thing? I know I can do the math myself, but a nice little line on the bottom saying how many are at each school would be helpful, at least to me. Thank you.
Yes, we can definitely add that line.
Thank you.
Stacy has one question.
Mr. Ferranti?
Thank you. Dr. Kelly, based on the enrollment figures, 7,200, do you remember what they were last year approximately?
In order to be accurate, I would have to, you mean at this time last
Yeah.
year? I'd need to go back and look. I do have that recorded in my office.
Does it seem less this year?
I don't think so. I think we're right about where we were.
All right.
Maybe even a little bit higher.
Okay.
Ms. Monterosso?
Could we also add a line to do the student-teacher classroom ratio for the high schools?
That's a little bit trickier, but we can do just a straight number of teachers divided by number of students to give that ratio.
Okay.
But because the kids move, they're in different size classes all day long, whereas at the elementary, they're in their class. That's how many kids are in the class, you know, so, but we can do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Ms. Ty?
A question to Dr. Kelly. I am concerned because I've been involved in a kind of social welfare program and concerned about the number of people now in the Paul Revere. It's just ballooning. And I know, well, we knew it would happen anyway, and but they wouldn't let Tom Ambrosino build another floor. So I don't know. Should we be thinking about redistricting? Should we be thinking about, I mean, the Beachmont School, you know, got the #1 school here, so that might be a very appealing one, and we'd have to provide busing if people want to go there, but just something to consider.
It's definitely something to consider, and, you know, one of the things that I had talked about when we began this foray into a new high school was the idea of repurposing this building into a central middle school. And as both that looks less likely and the idea that the high school is going to be happening anytime really soon, I have one of the things that I put on the agenda that I wanted to talk to the committee about tonight, and we can get more into this in the regular meeting, is portable classrooms. And so one thing that we can discuss as a preliminary conversation, and part of that is, do we get one for the Paul Revere while we begin a transition? The idea was that we would redistrict when we had all of those pieces in place. But now, because it looks like they're maybe a little bit more tenuous, that might be better to have the conversation about redistricting sooner and not wait for the new building to be built. So, yeah, point well taken.
Thank you.
Anyone else have any questions on enrollment? Seeing none, personal items, the new hires and retirements. Any questions on that for Dr. Kelly?
Mrs. Rizzo?
Mr. Ferranti?
Thank you. Dr. Kelly, are we still in the process of hiring people, and if we are, how is that going?
It feels like it's never ending.
Okay.
As you can see from the resignation list, we still have teachers that are letting us know now that they're going to be leaving shortly. As soon as we get that information, we do post the position. So we do currently have openings. Most of them are these newer ones, but there are still, we've had a really hard time finding school psychologists to hire. Another school psychologist at the high school just resigned. So that exacerbates the problem. We've been struggling to hire 2 small learning group math teachers at the high school. I believe they just hired 1. So yeah, we're definitely still struggling on that.
Thank you.
Ms. Ty?
I'm just so sorry to see Leanne Mimo's name on this, because not only do we lose her as an excellent teacher, but we lose the advisor to the yearbook. And that's really a difficult job to fill. I'm not sure if it has been filled or not. Would you know that, Dr. Kelly? Yeah. So I know after COVID, people want to be close to home. They don't want to be driving. And she got a job close to home. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Acceptance of donations, we have none. And school field trips, we have one attached to the Revere High School Outdoors Club. Any questions or comments on that? I do have one question. I know Beth Ann is a teacher here. I'm wondering if the other 2 are also teachers in our district, as far as chaperones go.
Isabel is, Jesus, I would have to, is also.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else?
I'm just amazed that they're getting all this help from the Appalachian Mountain Club. They are an elite group, and I think it's a wonderful compliment that these kids have been selected to participate in one of their programs. So congratulations to all.
Absolutely. Okay, moving on from the consent calendar, is there anything that someone might want pulled off at the next meeting for a separate vote? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have regular meeting agenda items. Anyone have anything they need to bring up at this time? Anything on miscellaneous? Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Ms. Monteroso?
Second.
Mr. Ferranti, all in favor?
Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? See everyone at 6 PM.